from Havik's and Murphy's article, they looked at how a number of studies using SEPs, the somatosensory evoked potentials, transcranial magnetic nerve stimulation, and EMG techniques demonstrated that neurophysiologic changes follow spinal manipulation. This is important because initial episodes of back and neck pain can lead to ongoing changes to nerve input from the spine. And over time, this altered sensorimotor integration means that the spine and the limbs are being perceived differently by the body. They talk about how areas of spinal dysfunction represent a state of altered afferent input, which may be responsible for ongoing central plastic changes. In other words, the misalignment of the perceived body by posture zone, how the body is balancing, how it's aligning, and how it's moving, that misalignment with respect to objective reality reinforces and reprograms the CNS to that perception. And Hayek and Taylor go on to say that this is normalized by high-velocity, low-amplitude spinal manipulation. The way that we talk about it in posture practice, chiropractic helps to restore motion. Posture exercise retrains control. And the idea that motion is a central concept and building consciousness and control of that motion is the idea of posture exercises. Havik's study proposed an effect of spinal dysfunction beginning with joint dysfunction. And they go on to say that joint dysfunction means that the proprioception from that joint is altered. That altered afferent input means that in the CNS, the central nervous system, there's abnormal processing that occurs. And that sensorimotor processing is abnormal, which means that the integration is abnormal, which means motor control is changed. And that means function is changed, which includes pain and disability, and that changed function begins a cycle. And this cycle of spinal dysfunction is potentially improved by restoring normal joint motion. We call this motion normalization. And Havik talks about how appropriate joint movement creates normal afferent input, which creates appropriate somatosensory integration and a more accurate motor control, which results in good function, creating a virtuous cycle. And Havik's observation is that spinal manipulation can be the agent of that appropriate joint movement. And what we've taught in posture practice models for years is that this is true. However, in the absence of something normalizing motion, people will tend to move in old patterns of movement. If you want to normalize motion, you need to retrain contracting muscles as well as connecting ligaments, fascia, and tendons, as well as the neurologic control systems. We call this strong posture exercise.